Yo ho ho, here we are back again, still in the Christmas spirit, but this time we're talking about the albums themselves. All 21 albums that I listened to during the year 2023. And yeah, 21, it's not that big, not crazy of a number, but I keep saying this every year, I'm pretty sure, but I'm like, yeah, next year it's gonna be a lot. But it just... Unfortunately, it is what it is, man. Whatever. 21 albums. The full list of all of them down below if you want to see everything that I heard. And I guess let me know what I missed out this year. And really quick before we get into it, I want to give a special thank you to the sponsor of this video, me. That's right, I'm the sponsor. Speaking of albums that came out in 2023, check out Dirge the Nameless Explorer, featuring 5 hit songs, including Dirge the Nameless Explorer, Haven, Invisible Downpour, Viridian Ocean, and Alone and Away. 5 super spectacular hits you do not want to miss. Yeah, it's my band. This is my band. I play on this. This is my shit, our shit, whatever. You can find it on you got Spotify, you got YouTube, you got Pandora, you got Apple Music, you got fucking literally anything. The title, whatever that thing is, type in Calloused Wing, Dirge the Nameless Explorer. If you want to listen to it, head on over to our Bandcamp if you would like to purchase a fine copy of it yourself. If you want me to sign it, I'll sign it. Sign my number one fan, whatever your name is, Young Nasty Man. I'm watching you if you're still out there. To Young Nasty Man. Thank you for the good music recommendations. So yeah, stop on over and check it out. It's pretty good. Okay, so when this Dark Side new thing came out, and my friend told me about how it was like spoken word, I thought, no, you gotta be exaggerating. Like, there's no way, right? So I listened to it. And yeah, there's some spoken word stuff and some just very lazily money. Get back. Do goody. Don't you take your hands off of my pie, or whatever the hell the lyrics are. I don't know. Y'all know. I don't do lyrics. Anyway, yeah, it's just like super slow, and I was planning on making a video on this after I saw Anthony Fantano's brain dead motherfucker opinion, because he is like the dumbest son of a bitch on the fucking planet, and I was just like, what a stupid asshole. But I ended up not doing it just because I didn't want to listen to it again. Even going through the albums again, I did not listen to this one again because I didn't want to. Like, I looked up a bunch of, like, interviews and him talking about, like, why he made this. And while I can kind of respect it, for those of you who don't know, it's basically, like, for the 50th anniversary, he wrote these songs as a 20-whatever-year-old. And now, from the perspective of a 80-year-old or whatever the hell he is, it's just kind of, like, a different perspective on one of the most iconic albums of all time. But... I couldn't imagine anyone listening to this version over the original for any reason at all. Like, it's not fun to listen to at all. It's a major drag. And yeah, I'm a dead this album off my everything because I never want to hear it again. Okay, and on the subject of never wanting to listen to again, look, man, I get that the Flower Kings are these, like, big prog guys, and, they put out a lot of music whenever they do. There's so many double discs, and yeah, it's like, man, they give you your bang for your buck, but for my buck, I'm not buying these guys anywhere. I'm just so done with them. It's just like the same shit as every one of their albums, just like verse solo, and it's like 67 minutes long, and it's like not 1 second am I even remotely grabbed by this band. We just finished listening to their entire discography, and very seldomly have I been like, yeah, I want to listen to this again. I'm done with this band. And up next, did you remember that Jethro Tull put an album out this year? Because I sure forgot about it. You know, I listened to it when it came out and then just completely phased out of my memory. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not overly awful or anything. Like, there's several moments on it instrumentally that, like, I really liked. Like, Hammer on Hammer was the main standout. Trickster, Jin Yugo, whatever the fuck the main single was, the first one. But I just feel like vocally it's not great. Like, you know, you compare it to last year's Zealot Gene, which was so much better. Like, especially with like Man on the Mountain and Brief Visitation, you know, these highlights that really stood out. And on here, there's just barely anything like that. It just kind of feels like a bunch of leftovers from the last album. And yeah, another album that I'm just pretty good on. And oh boy, yes, once again, coming in with another album. And once again, it has John Davidson on it. And once again, I hate my life listening to it. But yes, this album is quite beyond the best thing they've done recently with that dude. Like, you know, the first two songs I think are still pretty whack, and then you get the Luminosity chorus, which I still think is nice. The last part of the song as well. And then you have Living Out Their Dream, which is just goofy fun. The title track is still pretty damn good. And then you have Circles of Time, which again sucks a lot of balls. And yeah, just like at least half of it I can't stand still. And then there's a little gold. There's a little shine in this big dung heap of modern day yes that is pretty good. But overall, you know, once again, there, as long as John Davidson is there, yes cannot be any better than like the bottom 5 albums. And here we once again have another Haken album that's just kind of okay. Like, man, seriously, at this point, I really hope Haken finds some new direction to go to, because at this point, it's getting kind of stale. Like, Alphabet of Me is a great example of a good idea that they just did not explore all that much, because that is the only song that's even remotely like that on this entire album. And then you have like Temperamental Beings, which is pretty solid too. But, you know, it just feels like every single album since The Mountain has been just like steadily declining in quality. And because they just keep trying, they're just still in this phase. I feel like this is how Dream Theater fans were starting to feel with like the whole Mike Mangini shit. Like, ever since Dramatic Turn of Events, you know, like the next couple of albums after that, I feel like that, but this is what's happening with Haken. And hopefully both these bands, I mean, Dream Theater already did, frankly, with A View from Top of the World, which kicked ass, but I digress. I hope Haken finds a way to really, you know, liven their stuff up. Okay, remember a couple years ago when the last album came out and I was like, next album I'm doing a Soen video? And once again, I missed my chance this year, but next time, man. But yeah, Soen. I just feel basically the same thing. Like, every song is like the same thing. Where, like, they're pretty solid, but I don't totally love them. Like, there's just something that's missing. Like, if one little piece was changed, they would be one of my favorites. Because I really like the voice. I like a lot of their riffs. But it's just something about them that, like, it's not clicking in my head. I don't know what this unknown thing they need to fix for them to be this perfect band in my head. but I hope they figure it out for my sake, because there's a lot to really like about this band, but for some reason just the songwriting just isn't clicking fully with me. But one thing I do appreciate about them is that 95% of their song titles are one word. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, now we got The Ocean, and this is pretty much the same lines along as another band we're about to talk about shortly. They have a pretty cool atmosphere. I like the general tone of this album, but whereas the other band I've seen live, and I think they're so much better live, I'm wondering if the same is going to apply to The Ocean, because I'm seeing this tour, so I'm sure live it's going to be a lot cooler. But, you know, I really like when the album gets like super heavy. Like there's that part in the ending of Unconformities where it's like, don't turn on the bright lights. Like that whole section is like one of the coolest things I've heard all year. And then like when it gets super heavy in Subo Real, they just don't go that far that often, and that's why it's kind of in this lower section, but still pretty solid album. I'm just very excited to see if it's going to be a lot better live, because I'm sure it will be. And then we have Riverside's Identity, and like I mentioned in my songs video, Friend or Foe is one of my favorite songs of the year. Absolutely love that song. The vocal melodies, the vocals themselves, the key part, the synth parts, man, it's pretty much this high up just for Friend or Foe alone, because everything else is pretty okay, you know? Like there's not a lot of standouts besides the first song, besides the song I'm Done With You, like when he's like fire away and then doing that riff. That's pretty solid. But other than that, just kind of more okay stuff. And the first album that came out this year, all the way back in January, we have Uriah Heep's Chaos and Color. And yeah, like the first, it's a pretty solid rockin' album. All right, you got like the first two songs, which I liked. Age of Chances, you got like the chorus and main riff that I really like. There's a bass break in Freedom to Be, and then like the keys that build it back up. Like there's a lot of solid stuff on here. Like especially for a band that's like been around for 50 plus years, this is pretty impressive, you know. Like not like stupid ass Yes that just kind of sucks harder and harder as the years go on. But yeah, I probably wouldn't revisit this album unless I go through the whole band, which, you know, 20 plus albums is kind of difficult. But yeah, honestly, this was a pretty solid start to the year. Okay, and the band I mentioned when I was talking about The Ocean, REZN. This is like pretty close to Feelings on it. Like I said, it's a very cool atmosphere. Like seeing them live especially helps, because I know they have a saxophone guy, which I feel like he plays the saxophone live more than the actual album. Of course, that could also have just been a different song, but like live, they're just a lot better. And the studio records are fine, but like when they just need to be on a stage with like loud ass speakers, because just like the riffs and all their effects and like the layers, all that shit, it sounds so damn good live. And then the studio version, it's like, man, you gotta see this band live. And the long-anticipated Dethalbum IV finally dropped on us, and it's pretty much along the same lines as like Dethalbum III, where, you know, they pretty much dropped the whole making funny songs and just started writing straight up brutal ass death metal songs. Like Erotic Desecration goes so fucking hard. That is a pretty wild song. Then you have Mutilation on a Saturday Night. You know, like there's a lot going on throughout this whole album. It just kind of lacks the big standouts that the other records have. You know, especially with 3, you had I Ejaculate Fire and Crush the Industry, which were fucking phenomenal songs. And, you know, this one doesn't really have that many. Even the 2 I just mentioned, I wouldn't take them over those other Dethalbum 3 songs. But still, you know, it's just more Dethklok, brutal ass goodness. And we finally break into our top 10 of the year, and kicking it off are Shiloh's Babylonica. And this is an EP that these guys just put out. This is just a small post band that I found like at the beginning of the year through like my Discover Weekly. And I've been following them ever since because they're pretty damn good. And this EP is no exception. It's just good old post-rock, son. Obviously, it's much shorter than everything else on this list since it's an EP, but damn, these boys are good. Especially that first song. Hell yeah, man. It kind of low-key reminds me of stuff that I would hear Zeus write, who, of course, wrote my favorite instrumental album of all time. And yeah, anything that reminds me of that is good stuff. Alright, I've talked about I already in my Peter Gabriel video, obviously. Playing for Time, once again, my favorite song on here. A song that would usually be forgotten by me ends up being the best song on the album. I just love that song. You know, then we have Oliver Tree, which is also pretty solid. You know, it reminds you of something off So you'd hear. It's like one of the more up-tempo fun songs. And yeah, pretty standard feelings for me on every Peter Gabriel album where there's a few highlights. And then there's a lot that's just kind of there. You know, we got like songs like The Court, The Horses, and especially the last few songs where I'm like, yeah, these are kind of whatever. But yeah, there's enough in here to make me say, yeah, I would say this is a good album. And as most Baroness albums go, and like I just mentioned with Peter Gabriel, just like a lot of their albums where there's a few big highlights and then a lot that I'm just pretty good on. Like Choir, it's been a while since I've heard all of Baroness's stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the worst Baroness songs I ever heard in my life. Sorry guys, but Choir kind of fucking sucks. But then we have Last Word, like I mentioned in my song video, absolutely kick-ass song. We have Beneath the Rose, Shine. Like, these are pretty kick-ass songs, and there's just a lot of other songs on here that I'm just like, meh, whatever. I think it's just because they're in this like phase where they make these super heavy main riffs, but then anytime there's vocals, they're just kind of like, I don't want to say they're soft because they're definitely not soft, but like if you're a fan of like Red and Blue, I imagine you would know what I'm talking about with the vocal wise, how he doesn't really go super hard, but instead it's like more singing instead of like screaming like he used to. So yeah, I just kind of wish they would hightail it back to that old song. I know they want to evolve and shit, and that's all fine and dandy, but for the people who really like the first few releases, I think we definitely missed that. Explosions in the Sky. The Kings are back, man. The Kings are back with the title that made everyone shit their pants because End? Is this the last album? Oh my god, what are they going to do? Are they going to stop making music? Like, I can't believe it's already over. But no, it has nothing to do with the band ending or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh, the end of a relationship or a life or, you know, just the end of a thing. But yeah, they're not going anywhere. And thank God, because holy shit, the world cannot exist without Explosions in the Sky. These guys are basically like the Hayao Miyazaki of instrumental music. You know, a lot of people, a lot of bands do it. There's a lot of instrumental music out there, but nobody does it like Explosion in the Sky. I mean, Jesus, how many times have you heard me say, you know, when I'm talking about an album or whatever, like, oh, there's this clean part that reminded me of, it was like an Explosions riff, because they just have this sound that they are just so damn good at. You know, especially like putting it on this list. It's really hard to do that because one, it's only one of 2 instrumental records on here, and it just kind of exists in its own little world that we're just living in. Like, you know, like every song has its moment. Like Moving On, I think was my favorite song on this album. Love the first half especially. But just like there's Peace or Quiet, that's also pretty solid. Just a lot. I'm not even going to go too much into detail with this one because it's just like, it's another Explosions album. It's really goddamn good. All their albums are really goddamn good. So, boom, it's just like automatic top 10. Okay, so I talked about Daikaiju in my song video because I really like the Magic Wanda. And for those of you who don't know, and I just found this out when I was doing this video, but they're fucking weird, man. They're a like surf rock, Japanese influenced rock band from Alabama, I think it was. When they play live, like they never use their real names. They never do interviews to keep everyone's like identity. It's like a ghost situation, right? Everyone's identity is secret, and they just wear these masks when they play live, and like they do crazy shit, like set their instruments on fire and make the whole crowd go outside and like be crazy. I didn't know about this before I fucking listened to this band because it is kind of strange. But the craziest part about it is I discovered them about a month before this album came out, and it had been 12 years since the last album. So I just so happened to find them 1 month after 12 fucking years of nothing right before this came out. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, it's just surf rock. You know, it's really hard to say if it's better or worse than any of the other shit. You know, like there's plenty of riffs throughout this whole thing, like in Spiral Serpent Strike and, like I mentioned, Magic Wanda. If I had to recommend one song for you guys to listen to, it's actually not on this album. It's the first song that I heard called Daikaiju Die. It's from their first album, and it just fucking goes super hard. So I highly recommend you check that out. And if you like it, you will like everything else they do because it's pretty much all of that. All right, man. Top 5 time. Here we go. Kicking it off with Origami Angel's Brightest Days mixtape. Yes, this is technically a mixtape. And yeah, title track is a fantastic intro. Really gets you pumped up. You know, usually ukuleles are kind of like shitcore, but they use it very well in this song. And then it kicks right off into motherfucking Thank You New Jersey, which I already mentioned is my second favorite song of the year. So yeah, that's enough said about that, you know. But then you have other songs like PG Kinda Summer, also pretty solid. Second Best Friend, pretty good. But like the other half is pretty alright. Like there's a couple of other slower songs, or at least one like only ukulele song, which I'm like, whatever. And then the ending song brings back the first paragraph of words from the first song, which I love when albums like bookend stuff like that. And yeah, man, these guys are just rising up the ranks in popularity, and I am very happy for them. And apparently one of my most controversial videos as of late is my Steven Wilson's Harmony Codex review. It has like 50-50 likes and dislikes. I have no idea what everyone's problem is about it. Like, what did I say that's pissing everyone off? Is it because I said it's not that bad, or if what economies of scale is kind of annoying, or the title track is kind of boring, or the whatever the fucking rap song is, it kind of sucks. I don't know what everyone's so mad at me for saying about this album, but like, whatever, man. I think everyone's just a whiny bitch. But anyway, yeah, like, besides like the few tracks I don't care for, like I said, economies of scale, there's like that computer beat thing or whatever, that and the drum track that I do not like at all. But then you have like the acoustic and the piano and the vocals that are really nice. I really like that. I forget. Oh, wait, hold on. Is it, whatever song is like the die, like whatever shit that has, and like I mentioned, the one where he like kind of raps over, that one sucks. But yeah, man, Impossible Tightrope, What Life Brings, Staircase is pretty good, and then especially Rock Bottom, which I once again talked about already. So yeah, man, he's still got it. Especially since the last album really kind of divided people. I think this one definitely brought people more together. And yeah, really good album. I'm glad. It's definitely better than the fucking Porcupine Tree album. Like, that album has, honestly, like, as the years went on, I don't know years. It's been like, what, 2 years maybe? But as time went on, I kind of liked it less and less. But this one's pretty good. And the bronze medal goes to Metallica 72 Seasons. I mean, I feel like I have to, because this is, bar none, the most played album for me this year. Just because I had to listen to it so much to learn it really quickly within like a few days, to know every single song, to rank them all. And even beyond that, I just had to learn how to play every song, just because it's just kind of like, they were my favorite band for so long, so I had to learn it for and other reasons that we don't need to talk about. But yeah, man, couple of tracks, like the opening title track, I think is kind of dumb. You Must Burn, it kind of sucks, besides that one riff that kicks a lot of ass. If Darkness Had a Sun kind of sucks, but like everything else in there, it just, a lot of good riffs. Really like, Shadows Fall is fun. Sleepwalk My Life Away is good. Crown of Barbed Wire kicks a lot of ass. Room of Mirrors kicks a lot of ass. Too Far Gone's really good. Then you got like Enamorada, which is just this big long jam section, which is pretty solid. I really like the last half of that song. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on this album. It's just like, it's at number 3 only because it's the one I know the most. If I only had to listen to it like once or twice, it probably would have been a lot lower. But because I listened to it 1,000 fucking times, I got to put it up here. And the runner-up goes to the Foos, but here we are. And this song definitely grew on me since I talked about it last, like for the last ranking. Because there was a bunch of songs that it said I didn't care for it that much, like The Glass, Nothing at All. What else is on that fucking album? The title track. All these songs that I didn't really care for that much at that time, I've come around to liking. Like, there's not a single song on this album I don't like. Like the first 3, Rescue, the first singles, really good. The second one, fuck. Oh my god. I've been looking under you, Under You. That's what it is. Yeah, Under You is really damn good. Really love the ride, Simple especially. Like the way it's mixed, the drums are mixed on this album is really damn good. And hearing voices, I actually really love hearing voices too. Just like the way he's singing, the lyrics, the ending part especially, where it sounds like a field recording of just like him in the studio, like no mixing, nothing, just like from the microphone from the outside, like the door or whatever. Really good. Teacher, as I mentioned, fucking one of the best songs of the year. Rest, great way to close the album. Show Me How, excellent. And even with those other three that I said, like, okay, like the glass and shit, I still really like at least one part of the song in there. And yeah, man, easily one of this year's best albums. But yeah, we have one more to talk about, and it is the second time this year it's come in first place in anything it showed up. So, you happy, Rough 64? Because Nemesis, man, once again coming in at number one. You know, when I started prepping this video, I was telling people, I'm like, man, there's really nothing that screams number one album this year like other years have. But when it comes down to it, like when I was listening to everything, like in a sea of albums from bands that have been around for 20, 30, 50 fucking years, just putting out these mediocre ass albums, here comes a band out of fucking nowhere that just drops one of the best fucking thrash metal albums I ever heard in my goddamn life. And you know what's even fucking cooler about the whole thing? Half that fucking band actually commented on my video talking about this album. So they're subscribed to me. They're probably watching this video right now. And that's fucking cool. That is like the coolest shit ever. So yeah, man. Slave of Mistakes, Captive Hell, State of Pain, Aggressor. This band is, I don't have it. I can't find a physical copy of this album. I saw that there were vinyls, but they're sold out. So, hey, if you two are watching, give me a copy of this fucking album because I want to put it. I want to display it. I want to put it in my stack of 2023 albums. Because, damn, this shit fucking rips, man. It fucking rips. And I'm so glad that Rough 64, shout out to you once again, goddammit, that you gave me this album last time. And, yeah, man, the whole fucking thing kicks ass. I remember I was playing it at work the other day. And one of my coworkers came and was like, yo, is this Pantera? I'm like, nah, dude, this is new-ass band from Texas. Nemesis, go fucking check them out, man. Because they're really good. It's just really good. So, yeah, congrats to you guys once again for having the best damn album of this year. And, whew, that'll do it. That is all 2023 albums that I heard. I did see that I think the first album that I got, yeah, Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. That also came out this year, but unfortunately the year's over. So, who knows? Maybe that album will actually blow my pants off, and then that's going to win the next Rank Your Albums, and it's like, oh shit, well, maybe that's actually my favorite album of the year. But, I haven't heard it yet, so whatever. But thank you all for another year of tuning in to the channel. I know it's been slow as hell, but trust me, come springtime next year, it's going to get hella busy, at least for a little bit. So, I will see you all with the Rank Your Albums number 5 in January. So, toodaloos, everyone. Merry Christmas. Even though it's already over, Happy New Year. Let's start this new album strong by listening to my fucking EP and listening to the next one that's also going to come out in 2024. Expect it. Callous Wing, Sophomore Effort. It's going to blow this one. It's going to blow this one's pants right the fuck off. Let me tell you what.